Hi, I'm Marijke.
And I'm Jennifer.
And this is Cat's Chats.
Why should people do courses or CPD? And is there any benefit to parents taking courses or just for professionals?
Well, that's a big question.
It is a big question.
It is a big question. It takes a long time to say it too.
So,
there's benefits to both. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think we need to preface it by saying what courses.
Yeah.
Because I think as therapists, we're always really aware of evidence-based.
Yes.
And there are a huge amount of therapies that's not evidence-based that actually won't make a difference.
Yeah.
So if a parent is doing a course, but it's a course in blowing bagpipes to improve your speech clarity.
Yeah.
Okay? Random example, there's no such thing. But
It might be after this.
there might be after it. But the rule of thumb that I usually say to parents is beware of snake oil salesmen. When something has a really big price tag on it,
Yes.
and they have a long list of it would not be appropriate for the following types of clients, but they still take you or they still accept it,
Yeah.
then don't go for it.
Yeah.
Because parents fall into that trap, and then you get the Mercedes issue where it's like, I invested the money and therefore I will see a difference because I paid so much money for it. So you see change when actually there was no change, or you did that along with therapies that had evidence-based for it, and then you say the results are because of the
What you
non-evidence-based
invested
thing
in,
you did that actually didn't make a change. Like there are some ones where they know if you use that program, it is going to, you don't have long-term change. So after
Exactly.
6 months when they went and did the brain scans to see was there permanent change to the brain? No. So why do something that's not going to have permanent change in learning, isn't it?
I think the hard thing is, parents want to help their children. Like, they're the first educators. They are the biggest cheerleaders for their children, and all they want is to help their kiddos out and to make the child's life as full and as good as possible. And so when you have this, as you said, snake oil salesman saying, here are all the benefits, and it's only €800 down for down payment, and then €100 a month, and here's all this investment that you need to put into it, you have to start questioning the evidence behind it. And that's what I say to parents is, what's the initial cost? Is there an ongoing cost? And is there research to back it up? And I'm always saying to parents, send me the link. I'm happy to look at the evidence, because a lot of places and a lot of websites list lots of research, but it's all, say, research they've done, and they don't have any university-backed research or randomized control trials to show a long-term benefit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where parents maybe don't know how to read these articles critically. And I think that's where, we have to help them out to say, okay, really think about what you're investing in. And let me give you some ideas of things that are well researched and we know do work. And I think that's where the evidence is super important. But yeah, I absolutely think that parents going into classes and getting CPD and getting support and training for themselves is really valuable. And I think that the word empowerment is really big, empowering parents to support their kids and to feel as confident as they can to work with their children. But we just have to take that with a grain of salt of where you're getting that information from.
Isn't it? Because you as a parent, you're vulnerable in some ways, because when you really care and you really want to make a change, and you might not know where the traps are of where the evidence is and where it isn't. It's really a tricky obstacle course to go through. But in some ways, there are some really, really good things out there. And what I love is the research that they've done around early intervention, that they said parents who do courses and take part in courses and so on, where they learn some of these techniques themselves, and where, and it's also in combination with direct therapy with the child, that's where you see the biggest improvement.
Absolutely.
But really interestingly enough, the whole bit about early intervention, for example, where anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I thought that really saddened me when I read that.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, wow, you'd want to put a lot into it, especially like it's not early and it's not intervention if nothing happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a lot of time there can be services that just go, just do this course.
Yeah.
But people have different learning styles too, isn't it? And some do really well in those courses, and there are parents we have that's fantastic at being able to do that. But for others, it's just not their style. They need to learn in a different way.
Or they're not in a place where they're able to take on all the information and run with it. And, you know, they go to these courses, but it's so overwhelming because maybe it's once a week or every other week. And because of the hectic lifestyle, because of the challenges at home, then they're not doing the work or the homework that they need to, so that they feel guilty going into the next week, feeling that they didn't get enough done, and then they maybe give up, or they didn't feel that they got anything out of the course. And so I think, you know, we should always be looking at the mental health and of the parents we work with and the children as well, in regards to what courses we're suggesting, and even like the therapies we suggest, and are you in a place where this is going to work for you?
So that at the right thing at the right time, isn't
Exactly,
it? And for each family, the timing can be different. So sometimes if it's a cookie cutter, one size fits all, every family needs to go through the same process at the same timings. That doesn't really work, does it? You need kind of a bespoke one to go, your life is a little bit different, your circumstances are a little bit different. How can we do what we need to do by maybe incorporating things in your everyday routines, or changing how you can do that, how maybe the learning is within that therapy and within that parent coaching side of things more so.
Yeah, absolutely.
From a speech and language therapist point of view, I think I feel quite strongly about doing CPD.
Oh yeah.
Continuing professional development is what CPD is, right? And
in the States, it's continuing education units, CEUs is what we call it in the US. Yeah.
And it's not, for me, it's not a tick box exercise. How many hours did I do? Yes, we're supposed to do a certain number of hours. Not all professionals have to do that.
Right.
But to be honest, I really feel quite strongly I do it anyway, because no matter how long you've worked in speech and language therapy, it's such a broad scope of things, isn't it? New research coming out all the time, new things that you need to learn, and it's just that constant need to upskill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're not upskilling, I don't think you can be a good therapist.
Yeah, you need to be as au fait as possible with the new research coming out, and how are you incorporating that into your practice. And something that I suppose is tricky for me, because it's not something that was prevalent in the US when I was qualifying, was the idea of reflective practice. So that is something, even CPD on reflective practice is important for me, because it's not something, I mean, I reflect internally, but I don't necessarily put it down to paper. So that was something moving here, and this idea of reflective practice. I'm going, I just want to get my 30 hours in, and off we go. So every I say country has their own way of doing it as well. But it is really important to keep up with the new research, keep up with how you are in your own practice, and even, you know, because everything a speech and language therapist does is so broad that you cannot graduate from university knowing everything you need to know. It's just not possible. And that's where mentoring and supervision and CPDs come into play. So I think you'd be hard pressed to find SLTs who'd say, no, I hate CPD and I don't want to do it. I'm sure they're out there, but I'm going to give us all the benefit of the doubt and think that we all love our CPD.
You know, fingers crossed there are not that many out there. But I think the same thing probably parents and you know, others, if they want to learn more. What I found really helpful from that perspective is to every now and and again, list what is it that I want to learn now. Where are the gaps?
Yeah.
Where have I noticed, I probably need to learn more? And what way can I use to learn more about it?
Yeah.
Is it going to be your typical workshop or online training more so nowadays? Do I need to learn that specific skill, or am I going to read a book about it, or am I going to read an article, or is it going to be talking to other experts and getting their ideas and what they do, because they've immersed themselves into that speciality area, isn't it?
And I think that's actually something that's even easier to access now with the dawn of the Zoom and the WebEx and all of that. I want to continue to upskill on, say, eye gaze technology for AAC. And I have a friend in Chicago, that's what she does all day long. AAC is her life. So I connected with her, and she's going to be mentoring me on AAC and eye gaze, which would have been a really hard thing to do. Even 3 or 4 years ago, we wouldn't even thought, let's Skype about it. It wouldn't even occur to me. But now it was just, I need this information. I know where I can access it. Can we set something up? Can you mentor me now? I think it's great that we have the opportunity to do that.
Exactly. And it's even now there's so much more online courses available because that medium is around more so.
Yeah.
So the amount of things we can learn at a time that's convenient, because there are a lot of places that now record it so you can listen to it later on, and then you can do it and then reflect on how I'm going to use what I just learned.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember going to a course in the past and then you're like, wow, this is great. And then 3 months later you go, there was something that I learned at that course.
Yeah.
What was that again? So that reflective piece is so important, but it's very, very hard to sometimes
and
do that.
And I like the thing that, like we've always said when we teach a course, is whether it's to parents or to teachers or to SNAs, we always say, find something that you can implement right away. Just, if you just take out one piece of learning, take that learning and run with it. And I think that's really powerful as well for when I'm at a course going, what's the 1 or 2 things that I can say, okay, I'm going to start with this. And then I've got all my notes that I can go back to later and say, okay, what's the next thing I want to implement?
Exactly. I like to write that usually on one of the first pages, and I go back to it. Okay, what's number 1, 2, 3? What I want to do, because I'll forget.
Yeah.
Otherwise. But that's great.
Yeah.
Never stop learning, right?
Never stop learning.
There's your tagline. If you have any questions,
Give us a call.
send in your questions and we'll try our best to answer them.